Oh, greetings, everyone, and welcome once again. Whether you're here live and in real time, which is always a interesting kind of thing to do, but for those of you who are catching the replay, um, here's what I want you to do. I want you to shift your notifications to all on this channel, so you will always know when I go live because we have those channels that um, say that they have a problem getting, I mean, not channel, subscribers that have a problem getting notifications. So, whether it's on purpose or not, then and I always say this to people and I apply this to my own life, make sure that I'm doing everything I can on my end to make sure that to ensure that things turn out right. And if they turn out wrong, then it definitely won't be my fault at least. And that's what we have to come to as far as what the subject matter is tonight. What I mean by layered security is maybe I should have named this broadcast something else, but I couldn't think of it at any time. So let me spin this how I can. And I assure you, this is for edutainment purposes only. Although I do this kind of an entertainment angle where this is, can be viewed as theoretical thought. Mm, There are many that say that they have learned a few things by listening to my commentary. So I will always continue to say I'm not going to argue with that logic whatsoever. So let's get into it for a little bit. So whether it's one or 100 of you watching, I appreciate all of you for being here. Um, so let's get to it. Just bear with me for a moment while I set this up. And okay, let's go ahead and share this screen. In order for me to explain to you what layered security means, I will give you an actual definition and how it is applied to everyday society. Is really in tech terms. I learned this when I was taking classes in cybersecurity. I'm a little rusty at this stuff, so without sounding too ignorant and absent of the actual subject matter, I would try my best to get through it. But it is incumbent upon content creators to let you know that these kinds of things exist. So, you might actually learn something. But I would say how layer security applies to the mentality of the black person. And I'm going to tell you this, I have no theoretical papers from any famous psychologists or thought leaders from this. I'm just like you. I'm a normal person. I mean, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm smarter than everybody that watches because although I am the star of this show, the guy who has a channel on a platform owned by a major entity, then I will do my best to make sure that this channel has its own individuality and not to be, as all black men go through at one point or another who don't ask permission to speak. We this is kind of tough coming up here and having an individual thought, but unless you're me, Mr. Brutally Honest. So I'm going to say things that not everyone agree with, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to get everyone to agree with me. I mean, if you are a certain type, this channel might not be for you. So I did find something interesting in the 7 layers of cybersecurity, something I was taught in detail about 5, 6 years ago. Like I said, I might be a little rusty, but I will do my best to explain this to you as best as I can, assuming that, you know, that there are some people that's going to see this and are far more versed in, what these things mean. But this said the 7 layers of cybersecurity. I'm gonna start from the bottom up since the top one on this diagram is so easy to explain. Um, okay, mission critical assets. Um, that is deciding what's important. That's basically, deciding what's important to you. Um, what trains of thought are you willing to protect? What assets of yours? What what are you willing to do to protect your livelihood? Basically, to protect your reputation, and sometimes go on a feckless mission of lack of accountability to establish that lack by trying to make it make sense. And but at the end of the day, mission critical assets, is something that um, is important to you and that you want to protect at all costs. In the social construct is probably your point of view because no one likes to look like an idiot in whatever you do, even if you are doing idiot things. Let's be truthful about this. I mean, if the screen share, I mean, if you have a hard time seeing, let me blow this diagram up. See if this works because I want you to see, this diagram. But and most importantly, I want you to see what it says. This article itself says about the human layer, mission critical assets. That's that purple area right there at the bottom. So your critical assets are your reputation, your name, your livelihood, and unfortunately, because we have the kinds of people out here that are on social media that are kind of weird, that people have to take steps to protect their critical assets now more than ever. It's a shame that you're in a community that likes to scream that black this and black that, and it's not just on us. It's a people thing basically. But if you care enough, you would apply what I'm saying to what we go through as a people. People have to go through extra steps to protect their personal information these days. Paying people, getting services that are what like $9.99 a month or whatever because we have this YouTube culture where you can't even tell the truth without someone trying to, make it difficult for you, whatever that truth may be. But at the end of the day, you can always make the choice not to watch. But, we have people, and that's just a reality that choose to be the antagonist. So we have a lot more people doing this right here at the bottom more than ever. And and understand it might be a smart play to make. Not saying that you have to pay something for them, but there are free programs that help protect the person's information. I'm saying that for myself as well because what I do with my free time, as long as it's not illegal and as long as it's not hurting anyone, is none of your business. And I understand, and respect all of you out there in the clouds and in the chat, the moderators. Same thing. I have the same respect for you. So let's just start right there because it's just here's the thing. If you have a back and forth with someone, at the end of the, I keep saying, God, I got to work on that. You know, did it again. Yeah. If I can examine myself, then hey, we can all talk and have a honest conversation. That's the whole point of this channel. Let's just have an honest conversation. Let's stop shitting ourselves and um let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. And this could be any level of black person seeing that we are so ingratiated to give other communities and other groups all the credit that not only they deserve, but just an overabundance of it. But we look at ourselves like we don't matter as a people. And everybody who's into various trains of thought may have a reasonable argument as to why that is. All right, data security, the actual asset, your actual info. That's in the orange area. The protection of that. What protocols do you apply? What preventative measures that you can take in order to protect that info that you don't want to get out there? Maybe because of a hater, maybe because someone is trying to, um, I don't know, extort you or whatever. I mean, as long as what 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 the other person can do, I'm not victim blaming or anything like that, is make sure you're not doing fucked up shit out here. I mean, things that you do to yourself, I am in no concern with what you do. It'll definitely do something to your credibility, but at the same time, if right is right, if you are a person that is coming up with correct and clear info, hey. But I already stated my position outside of doing some harmful and hurtful shit to someone. I'll listen to anyone that's right. Application security. What measures have you taken? What do you plan to apply? How do you apply this stuff? I mean, they actually have paragraphs for this stuff. Endpoint security, the connection, network security. Is the area that is going in secure? Is that network secure? Perimeter security. This is the physical environment and the technical environment. The human layer. All right. Like I said, I'm a little rusty on this stuff, so I'm trying to explain it as best as I can. And I'm not the best person to explain it, but I thought that it would be very interesting to, just look up some of this stuff because you're learning with the audience, I would say, or I'm refreshing myself. The human layer is very interesting. What it says about the human layer. Humans, and it's summed up in the first 5 words. Humans are the weakest link. Humans. You ever heard this saying, to err is human, to forgive is divine? Yeah. That was said with the intention that there's some stupid motherfuckers out here. And I mean, just I said, again. And in order to get through life without really like just putting your hands around a motherfucker neck and just doing whatever. I mean, I'm not encouraging violence. You have to be a forgiving soul. You have to understand that everyone isn't like you. That there are some crazy people out here. There are some people that if you say one thing to, they're going to try you. And it's much easier to do that because, people are doing shit on Wi Fi connections now. People that are states away. It's so easy to disrespect someone because they can't do anything about it. Or can they? There are people out there with the persistence to come find you. So, I mean, just the rules of respect, or the rules of engagement, conflict resolution, because of everything that I see, and, trust me, I just don't go looking for shit. Being a part of this space, it finds you. I think we should brush up on things like that because we are the weakest link. We have the greatest margin for error in any of these situations. because there are some people that think they're smart and that are not that smart, and the webs, the internet, social media has facilitated this. Now, I'm not going against social media now. That's not. I'm literally on social media right now, but you can't be tone deaf to anything like that. I'll read the whole paragraph. Humans are the weakest link in any cybersecurity posture. It said any human security controls include phishing simulations and access management controls that protects mission critical assets from a variety of human threats, including cyber criminals, malicious insiders, and negligent users. There's always a dishonest person out there that is into some messed up stuff. And you can't go through life trusting it or it will bite you in the behind. Unfortunately, we have to start with the ones that are closest in our case. And, it's a reality that a lot of people, can't face and would rather sit up there and put up all their defense mechanisms. But this is the technical world talking. This is the guys that use data in order to make these decisions that they make. Then how to explain it to you, how to go about writing their security policies in order to keep messed up stuff from destroying a company or a corporation. Because humans, not saying that that's just a black problem, but when I say these things, I'm not saying it as far as us as pertaining to other groups because there's too much shit like that in the mainstream media trying to push us to go and champion other groups. What I'm talking about is, and what I generally speak on, is the behaviors that we deal with within ourselves because it's creating miserable people. And, I do believe in adult accountability. I do believe in that. If you are an adult, you are accountable for what an adult does. But, when you speak on discrepancies and things that we should be embarrassed by, you shouldn't attack that person. That person's trying to help. May not say it in the way you want it said, which is what is the nature of this broadcast. Can black people really talk to black people? Really? Now that's a black problem right there. Can we? Can we do it? Can we do it knowing that we can't even get the first layer right, the outermost layer, the human layer? We can't even get that right, and it's something that we need to call ourselves out on. Now, this is not to say that the whole racist construct that there are some. I mean, there are stupid people in every group. There are slow people in every group. So, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to call my people slow and stupid. What I'm saying is, maybe, tweak a little bit here and there. Because this one empirical factual observation right here. Humans are the weakest link. Even though humans came up with all this stuff, we are still the weakest link in the shit that we have created. We are the facilitators of our own destruction. I know y'all think, oh, speaking gloom and doom, and oh my God, why can't we just have a, a happy conversation? I mean, name me the happy conversations in the black face of YouTube that work that aren't based in entertainment and sports. Go ahead, put the link in the chat if you see stuff like that. I'm just saying. Name me the happy, positive black channel that is getting all these views. that isn't dealing with entertainment and sports, or some virtue signal shit. Virtue signaling. That thing y'all do when you try to convince people that you're a good person, so you champion a position in the most disingenuous manner. Like, y'all, the people that use the letters, yes, they deserve rights too. I was like, then, um, when I say they already have rights, people like me were called haters and phobes. So, just to give you an example, humans are the weakest link. And I'm not saying that, we always fail. I'm not saying that black folks always fail, because there's plenty of black people that succeed. It's just that there's not enough of a highlight on it. If there was more of a highlight on black excellence, we wouldn't mind talking about the problems. And I get it. They say this space, all we talk about is problems, 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 don't solve nothing, which is another disingenuous position, by the way. Hell, you might have a better idea than me, but I'm willing to listen if you have a solution. What we don't get is solution from the people who say they want solutions. The only thing I can say at this point, at this time, is use common sense. That's it. Use common sense. Don't go in a beehive covered in honey. It is that fucking basic. And people act like they can't receive that kind of messaging. So, anyway, the human layer. If the human layer cannot function, all of the other layers break down. Therefore, the destruction of everything else. If you don't have the human layer, you can't protect the perimeter, the network, the endpoint, the application, data security, and you can't protect your critical assets. Imagine human error breaking all of that down. All of those layers, and it takes one stupid human to kill it. And this is what I theorize, because y'all hate the theory guys around here. I mean, what the hell else is everybody else doing? This is the kind of shit that goes on. You know, when people say stuff like, "Oh, black folk can't have nothing," you know, again, fuck the human layer. We're not perfect. We're not. We're never. We never were. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how many people you slept with. Shoot. I mean, I'm not saying that living your life the way you want is a bad thing. I'm not saying that. Or trying to procure any kind of jealousy for people who are doing that. Because, that's what's said. All I'm saying is this. You'll never be perfect. But you can do the absolute best you can to avoid situations that are costly to you. And once they happen, if you're living it, you have to understand what your part is in it. And I have to understand that too. I'm not saying none of this shit applies to me. You shouldn't come on here and talk about people if you don't think that anything applies to you, like you're some kind of special case. That is foolish thinking. Really foolish thinking. Let me read that again. Humans are the weakest link in any cybersecurity posture. Any. Any. It said any. It didn't say, um, okay, these cyber security postures over here are not prone to human, weakness. Because it was created by humans, there's always room for error. I mean, and it could be it could factor in from things we can help to things that we can't. It's not all stupidity. Sometimes the human can go down physically at the most inopportune time. What if a security alert goes off? Then all of a sudden this dude is having a heart attack. He can't do anything about that. Hopefully he has a good team. There will always be some, but what I'm saying is, God forbid any of that happens to any of you doing these type of jobs. I'm saying there's always a possibility. It's things you can't help versus the things you can help. But hopefully y'all understanding this because this is what our bullshit layer of security. Yeah, yeah. When we have these conversations, we introduce this bullshit layer of security, and it's mostly bullshit. That's what I see in a lot of conversations, and it has to be called out. All of it ain't positive. Positive, happy conversation. I could try to say it happy. Maybe it'll sound a little less mean spirited, but brutal honesty has its price. But before we dive into the bullshit layer of security, let's see the kind of things that we can prevent. Use the kind of tools we can use to prevent these conflicts, these loss of respect for no fucking reason. All right, the 5 steps of problem solving. Hope you guys understand this. Most of you do, I trust. But for the few that don't, let's read it. People also ask, what are the 5 steps of problem solving? What are the 5 basic problem solving techniques that will provide a better interaction and most likely incomes? Once you know where you're at and where you need to end up, these are 5 steps will take you from point A to point B. Okay, here's the first step. Figure out what's causing the problem. You can also say identifying the problem, seeing what the problem is, being honest with yourself on what the problem is, instead of assuming or believing or theorizing or coming up with something in your brain to make something else the problem besides what the actual problem is. Number 2, search for solutions. Come up with a few viable solutions, nothing too outrageous. And make sure that it doesn't involve hurting another person, or doing something illegal, because that's not really a solution. Which brings me to the next step, choosing the best option. Okay, although, like in many situations, although this person disrespected me, I can answer one time, or I can continually do this, say this and say this and try to win. Is that really the best option at the end of the day? Some people out here are fucking crazy. Yes, they are. So although you're trying to get the leg up, you might be dealing with a crazy person. So it won't impact those that you and those you love. You might want to. I'm not saying don't stand up for yourself. All I'm saying is choose the best option. Sometimes we don't even get past the third step. I mean, the first step we have a real problem with, but those of us who make it to the third step, I'll at least give you that kind of credit. But a fourth step, which is, hopefully you get there, put your best option to work, apply it. And number 5, evaluate your outcome. Was it really the best solution? Was it really best? Okay. Do I need to go back up to step 3? Because I believe the best option was I believe the best option I had wasn't the best option after all. But see, here's the thing: if you get to step 5, at least you tried. At least you tried it. There's nothing wrong with trying, and you can always go back. You can always be persistent, and you can always come up with a better outcome. Because I believe most people want to do the right thing. Most. There are those few. One thing we have to remember as a people, and this is one thing that I've always observed, is you can't put the magnifying glass on every one person and try to make that representative of the people. Now, I know talk like that does not really solve a problem. See, figuring out what causing the problem. I can tell you all day what's causing the problem. People unwilling to identify the problem. In a honest fashion, come up with a few viable solutions. Admit that there is the problem and be honest with yourself about it. Choose the best option. Use common sense. Put your chosen solution to work using common sense. Evaluate your outcome. Because I use common sense, the best thing happened. That's all I can tell you. Use common sense. It's that simple. I don't need to spill a bunch of empirical data and technical terms on you or language that you don't understand anyway. I know that sometimes I do talk to a group of people that think that jazz is elevator music. That kind of thing. But for those of you who see jazz as an art form, hey, thanks for listening and thanks for helping me break it down better. So I'm supposed to talk about the bullshit layer of security. Yeah, let's do it like this. Have you ever talked to a person that and I get it. I get it. Sometimes things become a debate, but you get this sense from them like it's and I want y'all to believe that you're not crazy when you're not crazy when you come across people like this because the term that we like to use when you deal with people like that is gaslighting because they would rather do that than to actually talk to you about um, what the subject matter is, whether you're presenting facts or not, whether you present the data that they ask for or not. Most of us have to understand that, when we ask for data, that's some bullshit because y'all don't want the data. But still, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. Hell, shit, y'all, you don't care about protect. You don't care about the data itself. So how can you protect it? The human layer. We are the human layer. Hmm. I just don't like it. It just if you have to admit that someone else is right, even though you don't like the person, you'll go around the earth, or what some of you believe across the earth, just to not listen to that person, and you would rather treat the person like they're stupid and they don't know what they're talking about. I do chalk that up to individuality, but others' individuality gets a bit annoying at times. But also, I'm here to say that you should also not reduce yourself to an Orwellian state either, meaning that you just accept everything that's thrown at you and you'll fight for it amidst other people who care about you, trying to warn you about it. If you're black, you have gone through that with family members at cookouts and dinners. And then it shouldn't be any ill will at the end of the day because people are going to disagree. But for these internet streets, that's a different story now, isn't it? Gaslighting, shaming language, the bullshit layers of security. I don't care about shaming language. Once you throw it at me, I know exactly what it is. And if you've been in this space, you ought to be able to identify it by now. But when we talk about shaming language, or gaslighting, when we talk about it, what are we doing? Are we begging people not to do it? Or are we saying that, hey, you know what, we can identify this bullshit, so we don't have to go down this bullshit path with a person that just is ignorant and won't listen. And those scenarios exist. If you're not an ignorant person, if you're just simply someone who can provide the data and provide actual results, then I can respect that. I have no problem saying I'm wrong on proven facts, but that's just me. Kev can't speak for everyone. Kev can't speak for the people in the chat. So who is in the chat? I seen Dane Juan earlier. I seen Dane Juan earlier. So what is up? I'm listening. RPM, what is up? Absalom Pianki TV. Roguish the Build Manga. Hybrid catastrophic impact X 83rd power. Is once again it's great to see you guys. You know, it's always an honor. Oh, I just got hungry than a motherfucker. Like shit, I should have ate before I get on the broadcast. But hey, the food will be there after I get off. So that's the cool thing about having a fam. There's food. Yeah, positive, happy conversation. But that's what I'm talking about. Is this bullshit layer of security? You have to understand when you talk to a person, they're not always going to agree with you, and there is no. And I'm not talking to the guys in the chat because you guys are well-to-do. You're making good livings from what I, in my observable eye. There may be somebody that pops in the chat and says some bullshit, like a couple weeks ago. But hey, you know what? Looking at that thing, I am not even one at least bit concerned about that shit. So, trolls will be trolls, but we men, we maintain, and we keep going. Period. Especially you, a black man. So let's. All right, but anyway, I don't know. I just don't welcome the idea of being called, I would say, a clown, uh, a bitter black man. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, you can say what you want. It's up to me to believe it or not, and that's my suggestion for you guys. Call me anything you want. Call me a midget. You a lot of y'all favorite out there, gay. Because the word is spelled Gay, but every time I see it on social media, the pronunciation in my head is just like that. You must be God. Because it's like it's something you say and you kind of gag, but you try to make it into a funny voice. That's the thing. That's the thing. Any level of disrespect can be shown to you, and you can break these people down with any form or facts. RPM can tell you it took no time for a person to disrespect his life experience. And on social, I'll just go and say it in that Facebook group that was at one time so controversial. Say there's nothing controversial about a black man not needing permission to speak, but then again, it is to the weaker mind, to the indoctrinated mind, and that's what we're dealing with. They try to find every reason not to listen to you, and it's on how they value your blackness and their own blackness, without trying to sound too hotepish or too pro-black. Is the truth. But here's some brutal honesty, and I mean you can take that how you want, and you can disagree because I'm Kev and you're you. Nobody really does the pro black thing. It's a virtue signal. That's all it is. If you really sit down and think about how pro black you are, you would say nah. If you're being honest with yourself, I do believe in the furthering and empowerment of my people. I do, but that pro black shit. I have questions, and there's nothing wrong with having questions. Number one, why do we as a people let all of the assholes get away with the divisiveness, and then we treat the people who aren't being divisive like they're the ones being divisive? I'll tell you what, though, in my life, this is not anything about complaining about who these women screw with or whatever, but the ain't shit niggas get a lot of good treatment from our people in general. I mean, it's just the truth. But anyway, just like I said, it could happen anywhere. Yeah, but and most of them are on social media. So why do people use this whole social media thing as an excuse to be stupid? I'm not saying all of you are stupid. I'm just saying that there are some stupid ones here, and we have to acknowledge that. Hmm. I was like, damn. So gaslighting, shaming language. All this births from simple disagreement. If you are black and you are doing the right thing, then I have nothing critical to say, for I am not perfect. But that goes for anyone. If another ethnicity or persuasion and you're doing the wrong thing, well, yes, of course I call it out. We are afraid to have a lot of conversations. These kinds of conversations and the reactions to them, the reactions are mostly birthed out of fear. Fear of how you might be looked at and evaluated by other groups. I am so sick of hearing people say stuff like, "Oh, you did this in front of all those white people." I hate that with a passion. I hate that. I can't tell you how much that disgusts me to hear that. I'm like, yes, you behave. Yes, you should carry yourself with like an adult in any situation. If you are an adult, I can't ask that of children. We have to guide the children. Which is a lot of the reason why we're all here, whether you want to admit it or not. It doesn't matter. It should matter more if you conduct yourself around black folks. I'm not saying that you should forget every experience you had with a black person and just give them a nod, a pat on the back, and forgive every bad thing that's ever been done to you. But you shouldn't be less hard on other groups just because they are who they are. Or you shouldn't try to bring yourself up to a level of class just because the person that's in the area that doesn't look like you, that's an even weaker look. That's not strong. Keeping your posture and composure for like the white folks, but you can't behave around black folks. Whether you agree with me or not, whatever. I'm not saying act like shit around white folks just to prove a point. But you should prioritize yourself. You should have that much respect and reverence. Granted that you're not in a situation where, there's going to be an N-word moment. Goes back to what I was saying about common sense. Put yourself in a situation where common sense will prevail. I'm still alive for the moment. No, I'm not. That's nothing cryptic or anything like that. I mean, it's just that nothing is promised. I'm one of those nothing is promised people. You could be the healthiest person today. All of that could be erased in the next moment. Excuse me. It happens every day. So, hey. But just like I said, humans are the weakest link. There are some strong humans, though. Can't say everybody's weak. It's just that generally we are. Being weak is, I mean, it's just like, in that sense, it's just like being average. I'm not making excuses for it. I promote strength. Mike makes right. All of that shit. But if you're not strong, you fall in the category of what? Mental strength is something that is extremely tough. I'm not gonna say it's easy to not be a product of your situation if it's a bad one, but to rise above it. Not to say that there's not good reasons for people to be angry or upset. I'm not gonna, that's just like when, again, those white people say they don't understand why black people have that view on the police because they don't see it. It's like, of course, you motherfuckers don't see it, but we do. That's what our experience is. Not to say that's something that happens every day, but I'm not going to diminish the experience of others either. So it's like you can come from a factual standpoint or you can come from a disingenuous standpoint. But if you're being disingenuous, you should be called out. Period. There's just there's no need for you to be able to thrive in a conversation if you're being disingenuous. My thing is, and also, I don't ever condemn success. I am proud to see successful black people, very successful, upper echelon successful. I'm proud to see that thing happen for you. I'm not coming on every broadcast saying that we're in the bottom 1%. Or we own, yeah, like we only own half of a percent of all the wealth, which is a Dr. Umar talking point, but true nonetheless. So this is one of the things that I believe why we have people who put a highlight on success so much because according to the percentages, it doesn't happen that often. Sometimes people will say, well, that's a lie because they're trying to make black folks look bad. Black people, melanated, and then well, a lot of people call themselves people of color at this point. I mean, even though that's a very broad and that's a very shaky term, that is a slippery slope. And I don't like the people of color thing because all that does is put you as a black person at the back of the bus. Despite all of that, there's no reason to not try. So don't think that I'm trying to make you into a victim or to say, oh, woe is black folks. Oh, all I'm saying is this. We should use a little common sense. mm, mm, mm. RPM, you heard that scene. Yep. Let's see. RPM said, call social media is like wearing a cyber mask for keyboard warriors. Yeah, it is. You could. This is my face right here. You know, I was sitting up there like, look at this handsome dude right here. I can say that, but look, I'm older right now, so I pretty much have the excuse to say anything, but I still won't disrespect anyone, and I won't say anything. Rogish says, if the current social framework has some modicum of respect for embracing desired by the offended group, then that group would never cry out in protest despite low value assessment. Mm. However, catastrophic impact X83rd Power said, I see that so much with B dubs. White men pull up in the counter and receive great customer service. Black men pull up and the energy is off. Yeah, I've experienced that quite a bit myself, and I know what it is, but I just don't choose the battle because it's never a good outcome. Never. It's never. I mean, don't mean that I just be getting run over by motherfuckers. But I do know how to call something out. But I understand what my position is as a black man in Western culture. That kind of thing is going to happen. And as long as I can identify that's what it is, it actually puts me more at ease with it than to just keep getting upset about it. Because what's the point? It's like these people are horrible fucking people. And what do you expect from a horrible fucking person except for horrible things? So it's not me begging anyone, okay, don't be an idiot. Don't be an evil person. What I'm saying is there's consequences for that shit, and I could care less about you when those consequences happen. But I choose the less stressful path. That's the only way I see that it's the most common sense position. I'm not going to look for the fight. If the fight comes to me, however, I will break you off. It is like, what this old nigga talking about? Okay, whatever. We're on a Wi-Fi connection. There's no way for me to find that out for you, or for you to find that out, unless we actually meet face to face. But as far as these Wi-Fi streets, I mean, what's the point in talking tough? What's the point in using all this layer security, all these defense mechanisms? You're broke. You dusty. Just because you don't want to hear the other person say a correct thing that might offend you. If it's correct, it's correct. Whatever the case may be. If the data shows that it's an actual fact, then I'm sorry. You can't argue with a fact. And it's so funny when I see people argue with facts. Believe me, it's very fucking amusing. It's distressing and it's sad, but it's amusing as well. I'm just like, who the fuck are these people? And I'm sure some of you feel the same way too. This is some amusing shit. I know what you mean, Kev. Anthony Rumble Johnson, MMA fighter, died suddenly from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and that had me thinking. Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's got. When you hear stuff like that, you like Anthony Rumble Johnson. Then you had Jason David Frank. Which really you can't really compare the two because one was a suicide. Um, yeah, when you think about that, it really is that nothing is promised thing. Just like with Chadwick Boseman, nothing was promised to him. Just like the character of Black Panther, not promised to black men. I mean, shit. I had to slip that in there. Shoot, we gotta make do with the moments that we have. Mm. So if you are in here, you're watching, or you dip in for a second and then dip back out, or whatever the case may be, please go ahead and hit that like button. Please hit the like button. Respect the stream, and the stream, and all the mods, and everybody will respect you. Now, whether I have a thumbnail or not, my thumbnail that I could see was the one that said Black YouTube. My concern, like originally, had always been Black YouTube. Uh, my deal is questioning my resolve for black. I mean, I love my people, but goddamn, goddamn. Alrighty, read some of these comments. The Green Ranger Jason David Frank committed self-deletion after his wife divorced him, argued with him to the point where he locked himself in the bathroom and committed it. Damn. But like, I know that there's a lot of folks that complain about dudes that always talk about female nature, and it is discussed ad nauseum in the more local space that we have. But it, you you have to understand, and I know I just made a comment about JDF, but the psychological impact that a woman can have on a man. This is supposed to be your soulmate, your life partner. They sell you everything about that, and then the shit goes south. And with you being a man, you are treated as if that you're supposed to have this steel coating, like ain't nothing ever supposed to hurt you. And I explain this all the time. Everybody ain't built the same. I mean, this man has done one of the greatest things that you can do as a human being, and is that to be a positive role model for children. There's no way that they're ever going to get Power Ranger powers and shit like that. But, there are always these underlying messages. You can succeed if you try. Yeah, I mean, shoot, I ain't gonna lie to you. I watched Power Rangers too. It was something that was supposed to be weird and geeky, and why you watching that whack ass shit, man? Most guys that said that back, when I was young, they have gone south in their lives. But I'm not, ragging on people for their misfortunes. I'm just saying yeah, I used to watch. I went and saw both of the films in the theater. The first two films, the Power Rangers. They had that weird ass looking Megazord with Ivan Ooze, and one of the most, I would say, detailed, most badass incarnations of Lord Zed, like, and Power Rangers Turbo. So I know all about them. Yeah, but it's a shame, man. It's like the mental health of men, especially black men. And let's be honest, it's treated as if it's a fucking joke. I know that Jason David Frank isn't black, but listen up. And I don't do things because women do it, but women will always separate that black and that woman shit. And this is a behavior that is emulated, and we see it a lot on our side too. And the suicide rate among black males is nothing that's really considered or talked about. Maybe I have a broadcast about it because we do need to take our mental health a bit more seriously than what we do, as black men ourselves, because it's like we have to be the strongest group of men in order to endure all of the BS that we have to put up with, as far as what places like the internet and social media has revealed about us. We identified the problem. The problem rears its ugly head every fucking day. There are people that actually think in a very malicious way that affects the mental health of men, and men don't get the benefit, especially black men. It's a problem that needs to be visited, and we need to solve it. You can't just say men bad. That's why you see all this shit in the media that pisses men off, because you're not taken seriously, because you're a man. You know, Jason David Frank, is an example of a Johnny Depp situation that has gone completely wrong, and where Johnny Depp could have ended up. Being with a person that you believe, like, they put up this soulmate stuff. But I already went through that. This is why the marriage rates are decreasing. People are not buying into the crap anymore. People are resentful of the older men that told them to put up with it. I mean, maybe not completely disrespectful, but I'm not listening to your old ass anymore. You told me to submit. Hmm. Facts. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Whoa, Donnie, what's going on? Had it all planned out. He ducked me, LOL. Oh yeah, I was talking about the pull up thing. There are people that have access to travel. You might want to watch who you say stuff to. That's all I'm saying. Black men are blamed and held accountable for everything under the sun. Facts. How are we not? If you're not holding your baby daddy accountable, that doesn't mean black men aren't being held accountable. We get held accountable for shit that your baby daddy do. I don't give a damn about any of that. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it like that. I say I wish you well. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're having difficulty with your baby daddy, you chose that nigga, and that is the right thing to say about that. You wanted to fuck him. That's just all there is to it. You wanted to fuck the guy, you fucked the guy, and guess what? You're fucked. I don't care. Make better decisions. You have the info. Unless your parents or parent was that fucking stupid. It is not incumbent upon me to make sure that you have common sense. You're supposed to have common sense before you come here. shit. I like to believe that black people generally aren't stupid. And I approach YouTube in that manner. My concern was black YouTube, how we would solidify ourselves on a platform with such reach. But you know what? There are some that are squandering it. And I don't want the general populace of black people to be discouraged. So my search for a bigger audience, more wider, more peaceful audience will always continue as long as I come to these platforms, whether it's through edited video or whether it's through these live broadcasts. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the ones that are actually giving me hope. MMA fighter Kevin Holland literally pays for a flight ticket of trolls and spars them in the gym. For lack of a better term, he fucks them up. Kevin Holland that guy that talks to his opponents like he can't shut up? But I do believe that's a fight strategy, which is a very good one because I get annoyed with people who talk too much too. And that might be a technique that he uses to get people off their game. But he said that he just fucked online trolls up. Probably talk shit to them while he doing them. Kevin Holland is very vocal. But I mean, he's the kind of guy that MMA needs because he's very entertaining. Always like if there's he's a brother. That's a black man fucking folks up. He doesn't he doesn't come to the interwebs being all conquered and defeated like a lot of you like to say. Conquered and defeated. You should never respect anyone that says conquered and defeated and black men in the same sentence. And then unless it's black men conquered and defeated some motherfuckers. That's the way that you use it. But anyway, yes, he is the big mouth. Yeah, he's a big mouth. He has a really big mouth, and a lot of people don't like people with big mouths. But I respect the game, especially MMA. Man, there was like an MMA wrestling debate. The MMA wrestling debate. Like number one, any MMA fighter can fuck up a wrestler, especially like a WWE wrestler, which I don't doubt. But you can't like between the both of them, you can't discredit the hard work that each side puts into it. I mean, you got predetermined outcomes, but most MMA fighters couldn't get in the wrestling ring and really grab that crowd like that. I mean, you can bring up people like Ronda Rousey, which she kind of sucks. I ain't gonna lie. It seems like they have a very little chance of making it. I mean, unless you don't know they're an MMA fighter first, of course. But Brock Lesnar would probably be the most successful example. Bobby Lashley would probably be a successful example as well of a guy that can go between MMA and predetermined wrestling because you got to respect the athleticism of both. But I always say if it comes down to which one is really tougher, I would probably have to say wrestling because you have to be very specific in order to not fuck yourself up doing one of these quote unquote fake wrestling moves. Those dudes and those women get hurt all the time doing that shit just to entertain a crowd full of people who are willing to buy those tickets. So you can say that wrestling is stupid and fake all you want, but they sure do pretty good when they have those events. Man, I remember I was at a I'm not let's get off the some of y'all niggas is stupid contact. Let's get into something else just for a moment. But then I'm probably gonna go ahead and you know I don't know. I was at a bar one time, and like there was a lot of these old smug MMA fans in there to see Brock Lesnar fight Mark Hunt. Now I wanted to does hybrid. Do you remember that fight where he fought the Samoan Superman or the Samoan Knockout Machine, whatever they call Mark Hunt? And it was like everyone was in there just hating on Brock. Everybody. They were just hating on Brock. I'm just sipping my beer. I was like, okay. Well, I mean, Mark Hunt does have a good chance, depending on whether he's able to get Brock down or not. So, so I mean, that match was funny as shit because they faces dropped when Brock was just manhandling Mark Hunt. I was like, yeah, oh, that fake wrestler. That's what that fake wrestler's doing, beating the shit out this shoot. So, this I'll do a discussion like that on the other channel, the Black Dimension. If you're not subbed to that channel, please do. Go to my community tab and search for a channel called the Black Dimension where I posted a broadcast of ours. I mean, we did a Black Panther review over there. So check it out. And just more importantly, just go ahead and sub the channel. We're trying to grow that channel because, giving this space variety, it would be an awesome thing. It ain't got to be about one subject matter. I mean, people complain about it all they want, but, who gets the most play at the end of the day? And we got Brock is a two-time NCAA champion. Bobby Lashley's MMA record is better than Brock's MMA record. Uh, Bobby Lashley is 15-2, and I would probably think about this because I was watching one of his fights on Facebook. It was a fight where he lost. I forgot the dude's name, but the commentary was just very adamant about shitting on the WWE and the fact that Bobby Lashley was a professional wrestler. I figured a lot of it was because they were saying a lot of that shit because he was black. Because like nobody in the UFC ever said that about Brock, and I mean maybe the fighters talking shit, but like not the commentary. The commentary went really in on Bobby Lashley, being a performer for the WWE, but he's a legit MMA fighter, and nobody can take that from him. So my thing is, where are guys like me or our people in general when we spew all of this anti-racism stuff around election time, but we're never there for anyone? That's what I'm saying. I got I made a comment under that video. If I can give y'all the I'll give y'all the screenshot maybe tomorrow night if I decide to go on the air. But man, I got like 300 reacts on that comment because I was saying some real smug, disrespectful shit. So, anyway, hybrid catastrophic impact X83rd Power says Lashley is pretty good, but Brock has faced tougher opponents. People got to understand that it takes a lot to survive in the WWE. These cats are legit athletes. They go fishing for athletes from like pure athletes from colleges. They go to guys who have actually wrestled or actually performed at the top level in some kind of sport. And a lot of those people actually end up quitting not because it's fake wrestling or it's because the training is so rigorous. Like it kills you almost. I mean, there are people they'll do the reality shows, and there are people that show up like they the best athlete in the world, and after 30 minutes they're winded and they're crying. But you can't introduce facts to people who just want to think stuff. But anyway, let's get back to the what is up, Chaos Rain. What is good? Ronda's mic skills is pretty cool, but she still has to be carried in the ring by people who are less tougher than she is. Gabe Steveson. Yeah, he says Stepson, but his name is Steveson. Gabe Steveson, an Olympic gold medal Olympian, has signed with WWE and is being developed. Yeah, they had to stall on his development because he had got real sick. But I think everything is back on track right now. They're trying to make him a Brock like entity. That's what they're uh, because I mean he's legit. I mean legit guys like Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, and now this Gable Steveson guy. Oh, you can also say Chad Gable. Yeah, Chad Gable's a badass too, even though his character is depicted as sort of comical. But again, this is a conversation I should be having on the other channel. Y'all came for a conversation of why it is. And I can't like I know that we're in a situation, black men, but you know I got to give it to you straight. So this is probably gonna be it for me right now. Damn y'all spam guys and gals, y'all come in and y'all persistent. So anyway, that's it. Um, that's it for now. I did put the link in the chat. It's been a few minutes. But this broadcast didn't need to be that long anyway. But yeah, we definitely need to work on decreasing the bullshit whenever it's time to solve a problem. The who should get the blame should be at the very bottom of the list if there's a problem that is making us bleed out as a people. Because in like 20 years, if it politically keeps going the way it is, I mean, like politically and otherwise, like, dealing with people at the local level, then we're not going to even think, you can't even think about a community or a system of economic growth and generational wealth because it won't exist. That possibility probably doesn't already exist. Blu-ray, you're not connecting. Sorry about that. I'll give you a chance to try to come back up if you can get your stuff straight. But I'm about to drop. This is not something that really needed to be fleshed out. But that's pretty much it. The only thing I can tell you guys is to use common sense. I don't have any real reason to be bombastic tonight. So I really hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Said the other channel name. My okay. As far as channels are concerned, my main channel is Black Men Being Brutally Honest, which is probably not the best algorithm name, but for those of you, the real ones that stick around, this is who I do it for. And that'll always be the case. The other channel is named BMBBH2 and Kev We Trust. That's my backup channel. Or are you talking about the entertainment channel? The entertainment channel is the Black Dimension. Is the BLAKK Dimension. I have like the channels in my community tab. Just go to a video, give it a view, and sub, and put your notifications on all because we plan to get pretty ruthless on that channel. And it's just like when it comes to entertainment, the thing is, I'm a little upset about how black males are being represented in the media. And it's been for quite some time because that's all we talk about in this space is how everyone has tried to sit there and represent black males like we're some evil sons of bitches or, you know, so that would probably more than likely be expressed through a lot of our evaluations of how we view the world of entertainment because black men in particular in general, if you give, it's been proven time and time again, and it's even been proven with how B Dubs deal in the media. If you give someone else the ball, as far as the black male image, they're not gonna handle it well. In fact, they'll shift it more to negative and unproductive because, and I'll blame, like, TV is always the biggest influencer, television and film. If it got a little money behind it, we have a tendency to listen. I will always blame them for this, but I also blame our hubris and our foolishness as a people. We act like we didn't see it coming. Yeah, I seen this shit coming. Some of us do. So the community is on life support. Shit, that's been a while. That's been a while, and the reason why that is because some of us still believe it's like we can't be that distant from each other. We can't be that. This can't be life. All right, if you are here and you haven't done it yet, please, please hit that like button. Hit that like button. Some free shit. It's the freest thing you can do. Feel Brad, what's going on? What it is. Shoot, let me check something real quick. When I say let me check something real quick as I'm doing these broadcasts, I'm checking my amount of likes. Okay, and 25. Alrighty. Let's get to that triple digit as far as the views. Yeah, the Black Dimension. Yeah, I'm gonna start. Like I said, we're gonna start delivering content, and the thing is about that controversial black man thing is that when we speak out of turn, it's gonna be controversial anyway, and we get met with all this stuff. So it just expect it. If you are an honest black man in most situations, if not all, just expect that kind of pushback and that kind of decision making that people would just treat you like shit because that's what's gonna happen. If you're not going with the status quo, that's what's going to happen. And people are going to say all kinds of things. You're broke, you're dusty, you're short, uh, you ugly, you fat, you guy. You know, they're going to say all of that shit just to have an excuse not to listen. And it's one of the more coonish things that a person can do. I mean, I ain't. I mean, it, it, it I mean, it doesn't mean that person is always right. It just means that you have the option to respectfully disagree. If Here's what I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna end it here, is that if you disrespect me as a black man, there's no reason for me to be nice to you. There's no reason for me to be the better person, especially at this point. You should be tired of being told to be the better person. I mean, you should just be the better person, and then let everybody know that there's a consequence for their bullshit. If I have to verbally rag you, and it shouldn't come to physical unless you try to do it to me, I would say. Or if you're a guy and you say some fuck shit about my wife or my kid, then we're on a whole different level right there. But, you say shit like that, then people will try you anyway. So, still the best decision will be made. But at the end of the day, I do believe that black people can stop bullshitting and understand that yes, we can have a conversation without all the bullshit. I know I said bullshit twice, and that is three times. So anyway, let me get off the air before I start an insane ramble. People get so sensitive and offended when you don't agree with them. Hybrid, you speak nothing but facts here, man. Shit, you are the fact guy, not the FACT guy. Because you know how sometimes we hear stuff wrong. I'm the fat guy. What are you saying, you son of a bitch? And then beef just an unnecessary beef. You know how it is. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I hope you guys had a happy, plentiful Thanksgiving. Despite the symbolism, you still got to eat some really good food. And people need to stop bullshitting and act like they don't like mama's cooking on Thanksgiving. So anyway, it was great. Once again, Toya the dot dot dot. Well, oh God, she She is a woman of many means. I guess that's what that means. But shout out to yeah, that's right. Shout out to Toya. Toya is in the building. At the end of the day, that is always a pleasure. So, um, I'm done for now. This has been almost an hour and a half. I will think about ramping up my content again. Yeah, I've been a little busy, so just I said, again and again, I gotta cure that because you're gonna hear it a lot in my broadcast where I actually say the words, many times in places that aren't even necessary. Is a habit that a college professor told me I had. I took a public speaking course, and the instructor said I say too much, and this has been a problem for over 20 years. So it's never too late. I'm trying to get rid of it. Looking forward to tomorrow's broadcast. Yep, Hybrid has already locked me in. So yeah, I'll come to you guys tomorrow night. But y'all gotta be here, man. I know I haven't been the most consistent guy, but just believe that I'll come through. Just believe it. So anyway, long live the habitual line steppers. This is Kev. In Kev we trust, definitely. And believe it or not, when I win and when you win, we are going to be a winning combination. And I don't know how many ways I can think to say that, but we're going to try different ways. But till we can come up with the best one. See, hey, it goes back to what I was saying about uh, problem solving. You know, one of my problems is how to come up with the perfect ending to the show. So figure out what's causing the problem. I can't come up with the perfect ending. Come up with some viable solutions. How many ways I can say we're gonna win? Choose the best option. Just say we're all gonna win one day. Put your chosen solution to work. I just did, and evaluate your outcome. Um, the outcome is that I gotta come. I really have been thinking about stuff like this as a content creator. I've been thinking about stuff like this, how to introduce the broadcast in a very cool way, how to end the broadcast in a very cool way. And the goal for me and how I end the show is to be as encouraging as possible. Because I understand as a people and the way we represent ourselves, especially in streets like YouTube, hey, it's easy to fall into the trap of bullshit. So, just trying to be anything but that. I don't know if I have to try that hard, and it's up to you guys to determine that. So, anyway, this is goodbye for now. See you guys tomorrow night, and tomorrow night that means Monday. Peace out.